Hello fellow gamers and readers, I am continuing my playthrough of the visual novel Everlasting Summer. Last time we got in a boat with Slavia and Lena, we were heading over to an island that was just near shore, and we had ended with the ominous words, "If only I'd known what was waiting for me ahead." So let's find out what's waiting for us ahead as we continue Everlasting Summer. I wasn't an experienced oarsman. I'd rowed a boat just once or twice in my entire life. It was less than half a mile to the island, but we were making our way in zigzags thanks to my skills. I got mad skills. By approximately the middle of the trip, my arms hurt so badly that I dropped the paddles to get some rest. Well, aren't there any strawberries anywhere else? I mean, in more accessible places. But the tastiest ones grow there. Slavia gave me a puzzled look. Is it hard for you to row alone? Lena, unlike Slavia, understood everything straight away. Oh, it's nothing. Anyway, I couldn't let a fragile girl help me. Oh, you sexist pig! The rest of the way I spent concentrating on staying alive while getting to the island. 'Cause I'm a man's man. Slavia and Lena discussed something, but I wasn't listening. That was too much for me. At last, we arrived. Completely exhausted, I got out on the shore and looked at the boathouse. It seemed so far away that I felt like a first person on the moon, watching the earth rise. Here you go. Slavia handed me a basket. It was a small island, barely 100 meters long, and it looked more like a birch grove with even rows of trees covering its entire surface. A calm green sea spread beneath our feet, with wind causing lonely waves on its surface from time to time. This island looked like a lost paradise. It's no wonder that the most delicious strawberries grow just here. Is that an allusion to the girls? I'm just saying. We've got to split up. That way we'll do the job faster. Yeah, sure. But there are only 2 baskets, said Lena humbly. Humbly? Look at her. That ain't humble. She's like downright panicked. Oh, you're right. My bad. So how are we going to split up then? Oh, do I go with Lena or do I go with Slavia? Wow. I'm gonna go with Slavia. I didn't want to walk here alone and hoped that Slavia would join me, but I couldn't bring myself to ask. Well, it's obvious. 1 basket for me, 1 for you two. Look at me, eh? Nice, upstanding. No, let me go with you. Slavia smiled. Okay. I was a bit surprised, but I was also glad that it turned out like this. Well, at least it turned out that we were sort of a gentleman. We were just like, Lena, go, get out of here. Lena seemed to take no offense at all. The reaping has commenced. I don't know whether that's the best way to put that. The strawberries were delicious here indeed. I could probably eat them all if I didn't stop myself in time. Despite being wild-grown, the berries were close to the garden ones in size and had a rich red color, so it was clear that our visit here was not in vain. Slavia was walking right beside me, as we had only 1 basket. I felt like a mushroom picker, looking under every shrub and searching through the grass carefully. Pay attention! An entire bunch of strawberries had been left behind. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's fine. You must enjoy being here, don't you? You like nature, after all. Of course I do, Slavia smiled. It reminds me of my home. We have similar beautiful birches there. She gazed dreamily somewhere into the distance. Look, I've always wanted to ask, what do you like in general? You look busy 24/7 and it seems like you have no time to rest at all. She started to think. I don't know, really. Doing a variety of activities is enjoyable for me. Well, that's understandable, but still. I like knitting and sewing. Things like that. Slavia took a handkerchief out of her pocket. There were red, yellow, and green flowers embroidered on it. They were entangled with each other in a complicated way, creating sophisticated geometric forms. Such a typical Russian handmade handkerchief. Glimpsing it, I instantly imagined Slavia dressed in an ancient sarafan, sitting on a bench beside a ramshackle house with a crowd of playing children running around. It's quite cute. Thanks. Let me give it to you as a gift. Such a proposal embarrassed me. You shouldn't. No, take it. I looked at the handkerchief once again and put it into my pocket. Thank you. There were so many strawberries here that after a mere half an hour we had the basket filled up to the brim. It seems we're done. Yes, we've got a lot, so it should surely be enough. When we got back to the boat, Lena wasn't there. She'd need more time to fill the basket by herself. Yeah, I guess so. I looked at the river. Sun sparkles happily dancing across the water surface were the only thing that distinguished it from a mirror. That's how calm the river seemed. What are you thinking about? Nothing, really. And you? Me? What will happen once vacation is over? We'll have to leave this camp and go back to our homes. Will I ever see anyone I met here again? Oh, look how cute she is. She's all like upset. Will I ever see you again? She looked at me with her eyes so full of sorrow that I couldn't think of what to say. Lena came out of nowhere, breaking the silence. Oh, you're done already. Here. She showed us a basket full of strawberries. Great. Now we could go back. And I still had Slavia's face and those words of hers on my mind. Sadness and sorrow weren't the kinds of emotions typical of her. Could she be hiding them all the time under a mask of cheerfulness? Did I not say something about that like ages ago, that usually the happy, well-adjusted ones are usually hiding the most deep trauma? Just saying. I had no answer to this question, and I knew I couldn't find one either way. Maybe later. The way back took less time as I tried to concentrate on rowing and ignoring everything else. My only wish was to get back alive, as the first trip hadn't gone without consequences, and now my hands started to hurt after only a few sweeps of the oars. Having tied up the boat, I fell to the ground with no energy left. Slavia and Lena leaned over me. You could have said something if it was so hard for you. Yes. Never mind. It's fine. I'll just lie here for a bit, and everything will be all right. Okay, then get those baskets to Olga Dmitrievna, please. We have something else to do. Yeah, sure. I was ready to agree with anything at that moment just so I wouldn't have to get up. Yeah, dude, I was going to say, they just totally ditched you with, all the extra work. That's crap. Slavia put the baskets full of strawberries next to me and headed to the square, happily chatting with Lena about something. The hardest part is done anyway. That's what I thought before I got up and took the baskets. After the rowing, they felt like cement bags, even while weighing barely more than a few kilograms each. So the trip to the camp leader's cabin took much longer than usual. I had to stop every 50 meters to have a rest. Once I finally made it, I put the baskets on the ground and sat on the deck chair with difficulty. Olga Dmitrievna! Olga Dmitrievna, I've got presents for you. There was no answer. I barely managed to get up and enter the cabin. There was nobody there. If you don't need them, it's up to you. I lay down on the deck chair and fell asleep. Again, I fall asleep all the time. I had a weird dream about a strawberry race. I was rowing a boat with my last ounce of strength, trying to escape huge berries that were chasing me. My hands were failing me and I could barely see anything because of the sweat covering my face. Blood was hammering in my temples, but the strawberries were getting closer. They were baring their teeth at me. That's some pretty scary trail of strawberries. But wait, strawberries with teeth? Semyon! Semyon! I woke up. Olga Dmitrievna was standing beside me, shaking my shoulder. I see you got a rich harvest, didn't you? We're going to give the girls credit. Thanks to the girls' help. Okay, but that's not all. Seriously, I was just anticipating the lovely rest I was about to have. Do you even know what these strawberries are for? Not a clue. What an honest confession. We'll make a cake out of them. I see. Well, that makes sense. To honor the miraculous rescue of Shurik. And it's all thanks to you. It was clear that getting the strawberries wasn't the last thing left to do. So I go to the haunted friggin' place all by myself. Shurik tries to beat the snot out of me. I save this dude from going cuckoo. And now I gotta do all the work to make the cake to celebrate my success? Wow, man, I'm getting totally punked in this camp. And why, please tell me, if I am such a hero, why do I have to organize a celebration in my name all by myself? Yes, thank you. We're totally on the same wavelength here. Well, I guess. So, I have an important task for you. We are missing yeast, flour, and sugar, and need it all in the canteen before dinner. And those who will make the cake can't deal with it on their own somehow? I asked pitifully. Of course they can't. All of them are busy. And you are the only one in the whole camp who does nothing. Well, her words were partly true. That doesn't make it any easier for me now. I'm the only one who does nothing. Well, what's everybody else doing? Really? I mean, it looks to me like Elisa and Oleana, all they do is blow crap up. Why don't you make them go get the damn ingredients? Moreover, those words felt like a bullet to my head. So, write it down. You'll get yeast in the infirmary, flour in the library, and sugar in the clubhouse. Those are some weird damn places to have that. Wait a minute. I have no time. I'm in a hurry. Good luck. She smiled slyly and left. Of course, there are a lot of strange things in this camp, but yeast in the infirmary? Okay, I guess I could deal with that, but flour in the library? And sugar? No, that's way beyond my comprehension. I spat on the floor. I don't want to, and I will not believe this. Just tell me you're pulling my leg. I would not be surprised if a crowd of fat green trolls would appear here right now beside me, with every one of them feeling obligated to laugh at me. So maybe, to hell with this cake. I weighed my options for some time. No, if such a major plan of Olga Dmitrievna's fell through, I'd be in for a world of hurt. And it would complicate both my life in the camp and my search for answers, which I've stopped for quite a while. Well, cute girls, they can distract you, dude. It's the way it goes. It seems I have no choice. But to my credit, I also didn't get distracted just by cute girls. It was also, trying to help my bra, Shirk. Help my boy Shirk, yeah. Anyway, so now we get to choose. Where are we going to go? Let's go to the clubhouse first. We'll go visit the dudes. It feels like I've gone through more things today than all the previous days combined. Really? Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I had even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. Shirk and Electronic were enthusiastically building something. Okay, what? It looks like they're making a furry or something. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of a robot. Or at least the body of one. Moreover, this robot was female. And had animal ears. I didn't want to make up theories about purpose of such a device for luminaries of Camp Cybernetics. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself, and that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. Oh, it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries of the sciences. Hey guys. I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Semyon, come in. We're always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind. It's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person, something he can use in a right moment. Oh, Electronic's a sneaky one. Sugar. I need sugar, and it's in a robotics workshop for some ridiculous reason. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind where some kind of unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5-pixel stature, "Gold! We need more gold!" "We got it," said Electronic calmly. "Why would you want it?" I felt that I shouldn't explain to Shurik that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga Dmitrievna told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen? When the food trucks came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort. That's reasonable, isn't it? The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. But where would we put it? Electronic gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. It seems that previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then? It's not that far to carry. We're busy. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Shurik. He owed me, after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. I sighed, took the bag, and headed to the door. Yeah, thanks anyway, I said at parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down to have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternately in my hands, or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossible for me to cover. And as I resigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them, so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Maybe I could help you? Oh, Lena, hey! I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart. Why didn't I think of that myself? Yes, that would be great. Wait here, I'll be right back. Oh, with such a sweet smile. She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? Maybe I should have walked with her on the island. It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes, I started to think. She seemed quite unusual now, with no trace of shyness on her face and actually the complete opposite, smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena. A few minutes later she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back. So, I'll go then. Yeah, see you. And thank you again, I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like there are two different people living inside of Lena, but the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I just making things up again? I thought that it would be better if I get all of the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with the handcart. Alright, so I'm going to end it there right now. So I guess in my next video, I am going to hit the infirmary and the library, and we'll see who we run into when we get to those places, and maybe we'll find out just why the heck the yeast and the flour are in the infirmary and the library. So thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it. Please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you did. That's amazing. If you enjoyed the video and you want to watch my future ones, click on the subscribe so that you can keep up with all of my future videos. I hope to see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Until then, bye-bye for now.